Good morning, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Before I proceed any further, I would like to confirm if you are able to hear my voice and view the presentation. If yes, please confirm the same using the chat message available in your webinar screen. Thank you. This is a 5-part training series for a Desktop Central, and during last 2 weeks we covered patch management and software deployment. This is week 3, and we'll be looking into asset management. All our training videos are recorded and will be available in the link shown in the lower section of the screen. About the trainers, that would be myself. My name is Ashok. I have 10 years industry experience, out of which 6 years in Desktop Central. The agenda for this training would be a brief introduction about asset management and how to manage different scenarios as shown, followed by scenarios and solutions. And also we will post some of the frequently asked questions that we face during our support, and also the questions you might ask us during this webinar. So it could benefit all our attendees. We also have our product experts attending the webinar who will be happy to answer any of your questions live. Desktop Central Asset Management currently supports all 3 major operating systems, which is Windows, Mac, and Linux. We have a wide variety of customers available globally, and we collect the information provided to us by them. And based on that, we have categorized 13,000 plus software as commercial applications. Now, the asset management of Desktop Central works by scanning the client machine. So the Desktop Central server initiates the scanning, and the scanning is carried out on the software part, on the hardware part, as well as the warranty part. So all the information is scanned and posted to the Desktop Central server, and the first time when a machine is scanned, it is called a full scan. A complete data will be posted. Further scans are only differential scans, meaning only the changes will be taken and will be posted, which means we considerably reduce the data posted. The scanning can be scheduled by the administrator or run on demand from the server. The Desktop Central agent also is capable of initiating a scan on itself whenever changes are detected, like a software installed or uninstalled, and that will be automatically posted as well. So that is what we call as intelligent scanning. So a brief overview about what ports we are using. Desktop Central, we are using 8020 as a primary port through which agents connect to the server. In secured mode, it will be 8383. Notification port is a port that is used for all on-demand operations like on-demand remote control, on-demand inventory scanning. So the port is 8027. Remote control uses 8444 and 8443 in secured mode. File transfer uses 8032 and 8031 in secured mode, while distribution server uses 8021 and 8384 if it is configured to use a secured communication. Let's have a quick recap about 90 minutes refresh policy. For participants who participated in our earlier training sessions might be aware of this. Desktop Central has a 90-minute refresh policy. The agents will communicate with the Desktop Central server every 90 minutes once. And the primary reason for this is to reduce the load that would be contributed by the agents communicating to the server, and also to reduce the load the Desktop Central server installed machine has to handle. Imagine like 1,000 machines are managed and all machines are contacting the Desktop Central server at the same time. That will make a tremendous load in the network, as well as a tremendous amount of memory and CPU utilization on the server. So to even this out, we have come up with a 90 minutes refresh policy. So not more than 8 to 10 computers will be contacting the Desktop Central server at any given time. During this refresh interval, the agent will post its current status to the Desktop Central server and also take any task that has been assigned to it. In my organization, Office 2013 is a very important application. It is being used extensively for various purposes. So my organization recently purchased 20 new licenses for finance team, and my task is to make sure this is efficiently distributed. Let's see how we can do that by Desktop Central. So in Desktop Central, I start by going to Inventory and Manage Licenses. And here I have the option to add license. So I have already added Office 2013 to add licenses. So let me edit and show how this is done. So under Office 2013, when I click on Add License, a similar window will be shown. So I'm selecting the application here. The manufacturer and the version details will be automatically filled in. My organization name is ManageEngine, so that's ME. I have purchased 20 computers. The number has been entered. The license name will be uniquely generated automatically for making this entry unique. So you can leave this as it is. It is licensed to, once again, my organization. I'm entering my purchase date and expiry date as well. Purchase date and expiry dates can be useful in generating other reports relevant to this. We will shortly look into that as well. As of now, we have, if you have license key, invoice, and other information, you can browse and upload it. If not, you can leave it as it is. It is not a mandatory field. In the comment section, I can fill in the reason. For example, this license has been purchased for finance team, so I gave a brief description about this. Now, associating the computers. I choose the radio button installed computers, and when I select install computers, Desktop Central will automatically list out all the computers which contains Office 2013. So I select install and choose all, so I could see all the computers which currently have 2013. I can choose them and move it over and save it. So the license will be associated. At this stage, you can go back to Manage Licenses and see how many licenses you have purchased and how many licenses are currently installed. Okay. Now, 3 months later, I get 4 new users requesting for Office 2013. So there are 3 ways of handling this situation. First, I could check if I have any licenses available. Let's take Office 2013 entries here. So I have 20 licenses and 20 licenses are already installed, which means I have 0 licenses remaining. So the license status is in compliance. So when a license status is in compliance, I do not have any more licenses to address the new user request. Similarly, if a license status is under licensed, that means installations are more when compared to number of purchased licenses. The only place where I can make use of existing licenses or for applications which are over licensed, like the one here. So I have 105 licenses and 0 installations, which means I still have 105 licenses that can be used to new requests. But in my situation here for Office 2013, I do not have any more licenses. So I'm left with only 2 options. I can raise a request to the management asking for more licenses. For now, I do not want to make that request. So let's keep this option as a last resort. Another option is I could verify if these 20 users are using Office 2013. If I find some users are not using Office 2013, I can choose to revoke those licenses from them and reuse it on new users. How can I do that? I can enter Office 2013 application under software metering and then track the usage. So I go to software metering and I can click on add rules and add the details. I have already added Office 2013 here. So let me modify that and show the fields necessary for this. So I have to enter the rule name, which should be unique, and I have to enter the file name. This is the most important part of the entry. So Office 2013 has multiple components. It has Excel, it has Word, it has PowerPoint. For my organization, I would consider people who use Word extensively as people who use Office extensively. So I'm using Word.exe, and the original file name, product name, file versions can also be filled in by right-clicking on this Word.exe and looking into the properties. Now, these fields are not mandatory, however. I can also place some comments about this rule. Once I'm done with that, I go back to software metering, and that rule is available. By default, the rule that I added is enabled, as you could see under the action. You will see a red X mark to disable this rule, or you can select that rule and disable. By default, however, when you add a rule, it will be enabled. Now that the rule has been added, every 24 hours once, the report will be generated approximately around midnight. So I come back tomorrow and go to software metering and see that Office has been used in 22 different computers. The total usage count, the collective usage count is 643, and a combined usage duration is around 123 days and some hours. The last time it was used and last updated, one among these computers will also be captured. All right, I have a collective data. However, I want to get the statistical accurate information of each machine so that I can make a better decision. How can I do that? I can click on the number itself and see the different computers and see the usage count of each machine. First 5 computers seems to have been using this application quite effectively. However, followed by that, few other computers have not used it that much. So for example, this computer just used it for once. This computer again used just for once. So I can collect the machines that have just used it for once or twice or just for a few times, take a list of that, and then probably talk to the concerned user or the user's manager to see if Office 2013 is really needed. So like that, I took this computer, talked to the user, and found that the user has already moved to a different department. So the user does not need the Office 2013 anymore. So I took that computer, and now I can revoke the license from that user. So I can give it to the new user. How can I do that? I can go back to Manage Licenses, and then I can go to Office 2013, click on the number of machines, search for that machine, and here I see the machine, choose it, and simply uninstall. By uninstalling an application, you automatically revoke the license. Similarly, I revoke it for 3 more computers. Now I have 4 licenses available that can be reinstalled to the new users. So now I have effectively addressed the new user request. 5 months later, however, now I am facing with a different situation. My organization now has recruited 25 new employees into the sales team. And because of the nature of their job, they need Office 2013. And I get a request for 25 new Office 2013 licenses. So now I don't have any other option. I have to raise a request. So I raised a request. I got Office 2013 licenses approved. And now I need to distribute these licenses to the 25 new user computers. How can I do that? I can go to the existing license itself under Manage Licenses and use the Add More option. And now I can enter the 25 newly purchased licenses and the license to, once again, is ManageEngine, the purchase date. Let's say this has been purchased now yesterday, and the expiry date is obviously going to be next year. If you have the license key details, you can browse and upload it. Now I am commenting as new licenses for sales team. Once again, I am associating the computers, moving the computers over and save it. Now I have 20, 13 and 45 licenses. So that is 20 plus the new 25. I can also see the different set of licenses available. So at what date it was purchased, what date is going to expire. Okay, now I keep managing Office licenses, and over the time I get different versions of the same software. So for example, 2010 and 2013 and 2016 versions. Is there a way to group all these versions and manage the licenses for all of them? Yes, we can do it with Desktop Central under Groups software by grouping the application. So I have added a MS Office group here, and let me show you. The name of the group has been given. So I can search for Office here, which will list all the Office versions. Once it is listed, you can choose and move it and add it. Now, if I expect newer versions of Office released down the line, and if I want this group to automatically accommodate the newer versions, I can choose this radio button, say Office automatically, add all versions of Office automatically. So for example, in the future, if I get a new version, say Office 2018, it will be automatically added, and the license calculation will be automatically done. So now I have added the group. How am I going to associate licenses to this group? I can do that by going to licenses and add license, and instead of selecting individual installation, I'm going to select the group name and apply the number of licenses purchased and other details. So I have already added the group and given 10 licenses, and you could see there are 26 installations. So earlier I mentioned that it might be useful if you enter the proper purchase date and expiry date. It is useful so that you will be able to generate a report later for computers that you want to see if the license has expired. So that is covered under the inventory section under the licenses to be renewed. So when you go to licenses to be renewed, you will see the software for which you need to renew the license. For example, there is Link 2010, and this license has to be renewed. So that will be automatically reported. We also have a detailed view section where you can filter different dates by weeks or by month or even by a custom date section. So far we covered how to manage individual installation of licenses and multiple set of licenses, different versions, and how to generate some useful reports based on that. So any questions on the topic which we just covered, feel free to ask us using the chat session available, and we'll be happy to answer you. Now let's take a look into the next scenario. Last month we had a meeting with our IT administrators organization-wide, and there were two important concerns raised. First, there were occasional spikes in bandwidth found originating from the user's machine, and further investigation, we found it is users using Gtalk for personal conversation that is contributing to this. Also, some administrators raised concerns about non-standard applications, and that might pose a security threat to our users. Now, let me explain how I managed to address these two situations. So First, I go to the inventory section and find out how many installations of GTOP is present. How can I find that? I go to inventory under software, under inventory reports, computers with, without specific software. And here I can generate a report of users, computers using GTOP. I can filter it by domain or by custom group, and I can fill in the software name. For example, I'm filtering it with my organization domain, the software name, and I'm filling it as Google Talk, and generate a report. So that gives me a report of 103 computers currently having Google Talk installed in them. All right, so that's a considerable amount of machines which could easily spike the bandwidth during production hours. Now, I decide to uninstall Google Talk from machines that do not need Google Talk for production. So how am I going to do this? So I go to inventory and add prohibited software, and click on add prohibited software and add Google Talk there. So I have already added Google Talk. So before we look into how to select further options, let's take a brief look into the architecture of prohibited software. So prohibited software, the administrator configures the rules, that is simply adding the software to the prohibited software list. The agent gets notified about this, and 3 actions can be taken based on this. The agent automatically removes the software. The user gets notified and the user chooses to automatically uninstall the software, or the user raises a request since they need it for valid purpose. Going back to the product, now I have blocked Google Talk, and that application is present, and this will notify the users. And if I further want to uninstall Google Talk, I would also need to fill in uninstalled command. So you could see some applications where it is stated as not applicable, and few other applications says not configured. What is the difference here? The difference is the type of installer. So some applications were installed as MSI-based applications, while the other applications were originally installed as EXE-based applications. So that makes a lot of difference. MSI-based applications are standard applications which follows standard rules when it comes to automatically uninstalling. Since we know the rules, we know how to uninstall them. However, unfortunately, for EXE applications, that is not the case. So it has to be found by the administrator, referring to the appropriate website, and fill it in manually. So I found what is the uninstall switch for Google Talk by referring to Google's website, and I filled the silent uninstall switch here. So I'm done with the first part. Now I also need to enable the automatic uninstall policy, enable this, and here I specify how many software should be uninstalled during a startup. So this reduces the amount of time it takes during the uninstall process for computers with large number of prohibited software. The user notification settings can be enabled, and here I'm providing 3 days of time. The reason being, I have in mind about I have some people, I know some people who might need Google Talk for business purpose. So I give 3 days and also notify that this particular application is going to be removed after 3 days. If you need it, just let me know so I can validate that and exclude it if possible. Now this is a notification the user will get. Let's see how that notification will look like from the user screen. So this is the window the user will see that will be prompted from the agent. So the message from system administrator, it shows the user that 3 days will be removed, and let me know if it is required. All right. So after 3 days, computers with Google Talk which do not need the application has been handled, and most of the computers are removed. Now I want a proper data. How many computers are removed with Google Talk? Is there a way to find out? Yes. You can find it out under Auto Uninstall Status. So that will show me all the computers on which Google Talk has been removed. We also have a detailed view which will show you the execution status as well. All right. Do I have any computers that still have the application? Yes. We can also find out under the systems with prohibited software. So I see some computers here, and the number of prohibited software still present. I can further investigate on these computers individually to see what is the reason it is still being there. It could be something like software is not being able to, software is not getting removed by standard uninstallation switches, or for the machine itself is not in the network app for a long time. So I can individually investigate them and resolve it. Okay, now the user gets notified, and the user, for example, in sales team, a user called Rob needs this application so that he can interact with the IT team for several reasons. So the user chooses to raise a request to retain this software. So under the notification section in the lower part, the user places the purpose, the reason, and you can also CC that information to appropriate persons like the managers and send the request. Once the user sends the request, as an administrator, I will see that request available under the user requests. So I can see the name, the requester name, the application that was requested, when this application retain is requested, and also what is the content of the message. So I go through this, and now I might call the concerned user's manager and see if that is really a valid request, and if yes, I can choose to approve it or deny it. So in this case, I found it a valid request, so I selected and put some comments and hit on approve. So once it is approved, the user will be able to use Google Talk. So whatever software that I have approved or not approved will be captured under the audit history. For example, I just approved Google Talk, and that is captured under the audit summary. Okay, so now I have allowed an individual requester to use Google Talk. Now I get a call from Jeremy, who is the manager of the sales team, asking me to allow Google Talk for the entire team, because they all need Google Talk so that they can interact with their clients globally. Is there a way to do that? Yes. Under prohibited software, Google Talk, you can exclude computers or groups directly. So I can go to Google Talk and click on that, select computers or custom groups, choose them, and move it. So only for Google Talk, that particular custom group or users will be allowed to use it. Okay, now another scenario is when I do not want to disturb my top management folks, like my CIO, my CEO, my CFO. So they might need several applications, uninterrupted access for several applications. How do I ensure that they do not get affected by these policies? I can place them under global exclusion. So I can once again go to my domain and choose required computers alone, move it, and save it. So those users will not be affected by this prohibited software policies. Okay, now let's take a look into the second concern that was raised. Office, there are several applications, unauthorized applications that has been discovered to be used, which could be a security threat. I can block them from being used using block executable. So I can go to block executable, add that policy, and restrict it. For example, I have taken scp.exe, which is a simple executable used for transferring files between machines. Because there is a recent vulnerability scan that has identified this executable is vulnerable to many security loopholes, as well as could contribute to data theft, I'm choosing to block this particular executable from being used. So I go to computers and add it. So I'm choosing my all computers and add executable. And under the new, I'm giving the application name and provide the application executable name directly and add it. So I've added that already, and you could see the information here. So from now onwards, any user who is trying to use this executable will not be allowed to do so, and also will get a notification that your administrator has blocked it from being used. Now, there might be some tricky users who are capable of identifying this is how this application is blocked. They can change the name of the executable. So something from pcp.exe to pcp1.exe. Is there a way to handle such a situation? Yes, we have advanced method where you can choose the executable, and instead of giving the name, you can add the hash method, add the executable itself, upload it. So for example, I'm choosing that, and I'm choosing that executable here. Once I upload it, immediately the product will identify the hash string values and add it. Even if the user changes the name to something else, it will be continued to block. Okay. Now I have blocked an executable to my sales team who go in and out of the organization, who are more vulnerable to such unauthorized executables. Now I want to extend this policy to a different team, say marketing team. How can I do that? I can simply go to add policy again, and this time choose a different team, say marketing team. And now, instead of adding the executables all over again, I can make use of the data already populated in the application. So I'm going to path, select yes. So I will see that already here. Move it and save it. Similarly, I can do for hash method, move to yes, and see it is already added, move it and save it. So once I have saved, once I have saved it, I have now applied it successfully to the marketing team as well. So I managed to successfully address both concerns raised in the meeting, and I'm more confident about attending the next meeting. All right, so far we covered how to prohibit a software and how to block unauthorized applications in the network. So any questions you have on this topic, please feel free to post it in the chat box available in the webinar window. We'll be happy to answer you, and all the questions that we answer will also be covered towards the end of the training to all other but make use of it. My organization made a decision to upgrade all the computers to Windows 10. So I can start by generating a report of all the computers eligible for Windows 10. You can go to reports and then go to custom reports, and then generate a custom report. Custom report option has all the different items through which you can generate your own report. In this scenario, I want a report of the machines which has certain RAM capacity, certain RAM, certain disk space, and warranty covered. So how can I do that? So I can select the appropriate criteria and generate my report. I have already generated such a report here. So Windows 10 upgrade. Let me modify that and show it to you. So I'm selecting the physical memory, free space greater than options, and the warranty date not expired. I'm moving the required columns over, and I'm running this report. Now I could see 3 machines which are satisfying my criteria. So these 3 machines are now eligible for Windows 10 upgrade. Great. Now, looking at this report, I could see only 3 computers are in warranty. So what happened to the other computers? They're not in warranty. How can I find it out? We have that report available under the reports or under the inventory section. If you go to the inventory reports, you could see computers with different warranty status, like soon to expire warranty or expired warranty. So soon to expire warranty are the computers that are going to expire sooner. Similarly, computers with expired warranty are all the computers that for which warranty has been expired. So I can take these reports and take further action on them. So let's go back to the original report we were talking about, custom reports and Windows 10. And now I submit this report. The 3 computers are eligible for Windows 10 upgrade. However, my manager wants me to get a department-wise split of this report. So, for example, how many computers are in finance department and what is the cost of it? Now, I already have Active Directory reports available and OU reports available in which each department is covered. For example, I have OU for finance department. I have a OU for my sales department. I can combine the existing Active Directory reports with the custom report and bring a new report stating which machine belongs to which OU, or more particularly which department, by using custom query. So under custom reports, you have query report, and here you can write your own query, run it against our DB, and generate your report. In case if you are not sure about how to run a query, you can always contact us by raising a request for the report you're looking for and raise it, and we will be providing you the query that you want. Once you get that query, you can run that query and generate it. So I have generated the report and I could see the department they are in. So that's 2 machines in finance and 1 machine in sales. So this report can be submitted. All right. Now, how can I automate several of these reports? I see a lot of reports, custom query reports, custom reports, computers without software, warranty reports. Is there a way to automatically get it sent to my inbox? Yes. You can use our scheduled reports option, schedule a report, and here you can provide the scheduler name. For example, I am choosing warranty. You can provide appropriate description. I can choose inventory report and select soon to expire warranty. And I can also set the criteria. When you mouse over, you could see that little plus icon appearing. You could click on that and select further criteria here. For example, I want it for my New York office, so equal New York. Okay, and submit. So that report is scheduled. I can choose in which format it should be coming in. If I want it as a simple attachment or as a compressed file, or to be published in a link in server and just send the URL. Also, if I have email attachment size restrictions, I can specify a criteria like if the report is going to be more than certain size, say 8 MB, then attach it, then just send the URL publishing it directly in the server. Here I can provide my address, email address, which will be admin at my domain, subject, warranty, and the content. Warranty report. I can also set the frequency. Right here, I can do it for once, daily, weekly, or a monthly basis. So I prefer doing it on weekly, say at 10 a.m. on every Monday. Once I save this, I will get this report in a specific format every Monday at 10 a.m. automatically sent. Okay, so far we discussed about how to plan for Windows 10 upgrade by making use of custom reports, how to combine different reports together into using custom query, how to schedule reports to be automatically delivered to our inbox. If you have any questions on these topics which we just covered, please feel free to post it in the chat section and we'll be happy to answer you live. Now let's discuss some scenarios and solutions. The first scenario, I want to proactively resolve hard disk space issues. So is it possible? Yes. We have a report available under inventory, under the report section. So inventory and computers by their disk usage. So this disk usage you can use, you can apply the appropriate filters and generate a report. So you can use the criteria. What is the size less than and the free disk space size and less than option and generate the report. So you get the report of computers which meets certain criteria for the upgrade. I want to add additional information of my computers. For example, for a location data or some specific notes about that computer. Is it possible? Yes. Under the inventory, each computer, you can add customized data by going to the computers section. And over here, you will see the notes section available. In case if you do not see notes section, choose it using the column chooser and then going to the notes, enable it and save it. Once you see that, you can click on that and add your required data. For example, the location, the owner, the warranty details, the notes section, and all of them. We have the policy to replace computers older than 5 years. How do I get the list of those computers? So inventory section of Desktop Central also finds computers by their age. So this computers by age report is generated based on the BIOS date. Based on that, you can decide if computers are older than specific years and take action on them accordingly. Shared directories with right access, can I identify them? Yes. In inventory reports, once again, you have the option to find out share details and in specific machines, what are all the shares available? What are all the permissions for each share and to whom it is shared with? It's also provided. User level installation like Dropbox, can it be identified? Yes. Under the, once again, under the inventory reports, you have user level software, that's user specific software. This report will give you all the software that is installed only for the user. Generally, when you install a software, you might see the option install only for me or for everyone in this computer. So if you select only for me, generally it cannot be discovered for reasons like it will not be available in the machine registry. That kind of software can be provided as a report over here. And we also have the detailed view that will give you individual software based on the name, based on the computers it belongs to, and several other useful information. Now, I want to identify the computers which are having local administrator account. Is it possible? Yes. That is once again available as a part of the reports, again under reports, inventory reports, or you can directly go to inventory and then go to inventory reports. And over here, you could see the administrators, computers with administrators report here. Okay. Looking into some frequently asked questions. So the questions that were asked in the chat session is being populated now. Waiting for the questions to populate. Okay, so I just got the questions populated. All right. So is it possible to assign a user account to a machine in Desktop Central, such as this user is assigned to this asset? And can this information be shared with Service Desk Plus to see that information? Yeah, the user account that is associated with that machine will be automatically discovered during the scanning and as a part of the replication. So when you integrate Desktop Central and Service Desk Plus, this information will also be posted to Service Desk Plus automatically. With adding managed software licenses, I ran into issues with tracking license count. Some of software like MS Office consists several versions. Is there a way to consolidate these versions? Yes. So we covered that in the first section. So we can add different versions of the same software under license management. Software that you want to be prohibited is not already in your network. Can you block it? Well, for prohibited software, we need the software to be installed in at least one machine. However, when it comes to block executable, it is not necessary that it has to be present. You just need to know the name of the executable. Simply add it under block executable. To receive alerts on new installed flash drives, should I enable alerting for USB controller hubs? Yeah, you need to enable the alert section. So under the inventory, you have alerts. Under the alerts, you will need to enable the appropriate option under the hardware. Similarly, for software, if you want to get any alerts to be sent, you can enable the appropriate option. In this case, you need to enable USB controller. In the computers by age report, all years are based on BIOS. Is there a way to specify a date range? So when you go to the inventory, computers by age, this is the report that question is all about. Now, date-based filtering is currently not available. However, you can sort the report based on the date. So as you can see here, it can be made ascending or descending order. When you add a program to prohibited software, does it take all the version of software into account? Yes. If you select that option, it can take all the versions in account, including the future version. Inventory report of computers without specific software. How to specify filter criteria? So inventory report of computers without specific software. So under inventory, you go to reports, computers with, without specific software. So you have the filter criteria available right here. You can filter it by domain or by the group and then generate the report. So those are all the two filters available for computers with, without specific software. And also under the software name, you can do it like or equal. So it can be exactly matching or something similar to that name. Can you add off-network computers that would not have an agent installed? Adding off-network computers is currently not possible. The computer should be in some way contacting the desktop central server. Is there a time frame supporting more features for enterprise of Linux like CentOS, Red Hat? So this is in our product roadmap, and we have a lot of more features planned for computers, especially for the Linux platform. And we will be notifying you through our regular blogs and newsletters. If a software is rejected, prohibited software, when a user asks for permission to use it, the permission is granted. Can that be revoked again at a later point of time? Well, when you go to the inventory and go to prohibited software, the user request, once you approve it or deny it, will still be there. So you can always choose and approve it at a later stage. So even though you deny it initially, you can once again approve it. Is there a way to get alerts when free disk space is running low? Yes. It can be configured under our alert section. So when you go to the inventory and the alert section, you can configure that by configuring appropriate options. And under configurations, you can make this as a configuration by generating the alerts. So less than free space, and this can be configured as well. We are running STP. When do you use Desktop Central versus Service Desk Plus? Should you use software licensing in Desktop Central or Service Desk Plus? Well, if you have licenses managed in Desktop Central already or in Service Desk Plus already, there is no need to add them once again in the other product. I mean, all the software, if STP is your main piece of software where you track your licenses, then you can make use of the integration because Desktop Central will post the assets, the software information discovered to STP. So the software calculation can be automatically done in Service Desk Plus. If you already have licenses managed in Desktop Central, that information can be further posted to Service Desk Plus. But always keep in mind that Service Desk Plus data will not be posted back to Desktop Central. The data flows only from Desktop Central to Service Desk Plus all the time. Does Desktop Central detect what software is installed on each machine, detect if license about its product key? Well, Desktop Central definitely detects all the software that is installed in a machine, and we can add the licenses and track them. And when it comes to the product keys, yes, we do discover product keys, but only for limited applications. So computers and by product keys, you could see some product keys available. However, if you look into the help section of this, you could see only these applications are currently supported for fetching product keys automatically. Is there a way to get reports from system users group for Mac machines? Yes, we do have the information from Mac machines as well, since we cover that in inventory as well. what could be the reason where inventory data not seen? So inventory data depends on successful scanning of your machine. So you can always verify if your machines are scanned properly by going to inventory and scan system. So machines should be successfully scanned. The scan status should be success. And the more recently they are scanned, the more accurate the data is. In case if a machine is not scanned, you are not going to see any information related to that machine. So that is the primary reason why you are not able to see the inventory data of a machine. Okay, now the remaining part of this questions will be covered by my Dinesh Babu.
Okay, guys, my name is Dinesh. I'm going to answer rest of the questions posted in the chat. So the first one is, what about license in SDP or the sync with the desktop central? Actually, the asset information will be posted from the desktop central to the service desk cluster. So the license details managed in the service desk cluster will not get updated in the desktop central. And the next one is, does software metering work with Mac computers? As of now, the software metering is available for Windows platform, and we have this requirement in the product roadmap, and you'll get the further updates from our regular newsletter, like what is cooking, and whenever we release any updates, you'll get the details with our regular newsletters. And the next one is, can I add a multiple file names in a software metering rule? So the software metering rule let you know the usage statistics using the executable name that gets launched in your task manager. So you cannot have more than one file for in a one rule to monitor a specific software. It's for monitoring a specific software. So you need to you'll be able to choose only one file in a software metering rule. And the next one is, does Desktop Central handle SQL Server and Cal type licensing? So right now, the managed license is based on the input that you provided in the tool. So you need to provide how many licenses you purchased, and then you need to select the software identified from the managed computer. So right now we are not monitoring the SQL Server and the Cal type licensing. So it's a completely a different model. They are used by Microsoft. Can I remove a software which gets installed during web browsing? Yes, you can. So you can just use a trash can available in the software inventory. So let me go back to the console. So if you come out of the inventory and the software, then you will be able to find the software which is installed during the web browsing. So you can use this trash can icon to uninstall the software. Okay. So in case if the software is not identified in this one, so this usually happens if the plugin got installed using installed to the user profile. In this case, what you need to do is you can use the registry settings configuration, which is available under the configuration. So you can go here and then use the registry settings to remove the registry from the local machine or from the current user to uninstall that plugin from the browser. Okay. So this couple of options are available. And also, if you want, you can uninstall it from software inventory. Even as a preventive maintenance measure, you can just add that plugin to the prohibited software. So if it gets installed by any user, then it gets uninstalled during the system startup. And the next one is, what are all the benefits of using Desktop Central over Service Desk Plus to track software licensing? So Desktop Central uses the agent to collect the software inventory information, and the agent is proactively monitoring the system for any software changes. So if an end user install a software or uninstall a software, immediately that machine gets scanned and the inventory details gets updated. So this is not a true with the Service Desk Plus. This is the one advantage, and the next one is you have a software metering in a desktop central to understand how effectively the commercial softwares are used in the installed machine. Say you have some really expensive commercial software, you may not want to install that software in the machine where it is not really used. So you'll get those kind of usage statistics, and it's a proactive monitoring. So this will help for a better software management. And the next one is it possible to block websites using Desktop Central? So right now we have a configuration. So we have a browser configuration wherein you can just add the trusted sites. So here you can come under the browser configuration. Here you can see the restriction. Under the restriction, you can just provide what are all the sites that you want to restrict. Here only restricting a website, you can choose what a default browser, setting up a home page, a search engine, download directory. So you can utilize this browser configuration to restrict the websites. Okay, and the next one is, can I add a custom field to populate more data against each computer? Yes, it is possible. So you just need to go under the inventory and computers. So you get the add or edit additional, here you will get the add or edit additional features. So you will see this icon. You just need to click on this one. Here we have some fields for you. So you can update the computer location, owner information, search tag, owner email address. So you can update those information here. And also we have a provisions like what you can do is you can just say if you want to perform a bulk update, say you have some common information that you want to update in all the machines, you just need to select all the machines here. So you can just choose all the machines and click on a bulk update to update the details like the owner information or the product number or computer location. Say I want to update the computer location as all these machines are available in a New York office. Then I can just choose all the machines and update the computer location as a New York here. So that's the best example that I can see for add or edit additional information. Okay, and the next one is after installing a software, can the shortcut be sent to be a specific directory? So right now, the software deployment will help you to install the software in a silent mode. So the vendor have to provide those kind of information. So this requirement can be achieved with the parameters supplied by the vendor. So the software vendor will provide the information whether to create a shortcut for installing a software or just to place the shortcut in a different folder or a directory. So you need to contact the vendor for this requirement. And if you don't get the information, you don't need to worry about it. So we have something called shortcut configuration. So you can go to the configuration. So after you deploy the software, you can come to the configuration, and here we have an option called a shortcut. So in the shortcut configuration, you can just create a shortcut or remove the shortcut that is already created. Okay, so let me take a shortcut configuration here. Good. Okay, here you have a shortcut. So you just need to go here, and here you can see that a delete a shortcut or create a shortcut. So you can just delete the default one, and also you can see the add more shortcut. So what I can do is I can just input the shortcut name. I choose all user desktop, okay, and then I click on add more. Okay, create a new shortcut in a desired folder or desired location. So basically you can do both the operation in the same configuration. So my recommendation would be deploy the software with the default option, delete the shortcut from the default location, and create a shortcut on the desired location. Okay, that's all about the questions that got posted in the chat, and other questions will be addressed in our next webinar session. So this is our next webinar session will be on July 27th, 11:30 a.m. EDT. It's about remote control management. Okay, guys, I trust the webinar is useful and informative. And please do spend some time to provide us a feedback about the webinar. This will improve us. This will help us to improve the webinar that we are delivering to you. Once again, thank you very much for participating in webinar, and you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye now.